Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different than the videos I've done in the past. It took me a minute to decide if I wanted to do this video because it's a little different and it's something that not a lot of people know about me, so I have no idea how interested you're going to be, but it's something I could probably talk about for hours, and I thought it might be kind of fun to do a series, not every week, maybe once a month. I could talk about a different murder. I have been fascinated by murders for a really long time, and it's something that's kind of like a little weird to admit because, you know, when you're hanging out with friends, you're not like, so, did you hear about this murder? And everyone's usually like, that's a little weird. But I have found that there are other people out there like me who are fascinated by it. I think because it's like the deepest, darkest part of humanity, and it's so incredibly scary to think about, but it's my thing. Like, it's my thing. When I find somebody else who's interested in it, I'm always like, oh wait, do you know about this? Or this or that. So here's the deal with me. I don't know every murder out there. Like, there's some murders that I'm like, that one doesn't really interest me. And it's not necessarily that I'm interested in like a serial killer or a one-off murderer. It's something about the individual stories that get me. When I'm interested in something, I usually will take that one topic and like research it to death. I will read everything on it. I will find things that are a little bit obscure on the internet. Like, I find those stories that not a lot of people know. For instance, like, let's talk about Ted Bundy. I have read literally every Ted Bundy book. I have watched every Ted Bundy, special, movie. I found the book that was written by the girlfriend that he had in Seattle when he was like committing a lot of the murders. Her name was Liz Kendall. That was her pen name. But she wrote The Phantom Prince, and it was about dating Ted Bundy. And actually the newest Netflix movie that's called like Extremely Wicked, Horribly Vile and Evil, I think, starring Zac Efron, is based on that book. But I read that book like years ago. I couldn't find it because it was out of print. So I went on eBay and I like had to wait until a copy came available. I mean, I think I remember one was available, but it was like $150 or something. I'm like, okay, I cannot spend $150 on a Ted Bundy book, but I did spend $75 and I have that book in my nightstand and I read it years ago. My point is that when something fascinates me, I don't just like read one book, I really investigate it. Like, I could probably be an investigator, or I mean, at least like an assistant to the investigator. Some of the cases that fascinate me the most are obviously Ted Bundy. Like, that one is, I wouldn't say that was my first like real serial killer obsession, but I remember watching some 80s miniseries that aired on TV, like with my gram, Blind Faith. I remember the story of the sergeant in the army who killed his wife, I think, and 2 children, and then tried to blame it like on a bushy-haired stranger. So I remember those things as a kid, and I was like, this is insane. And I remember watching them and being scared to death, but simultaneously fascinated by them. But as an adult, I think my first real murder that was fascinating to me was Ted Bundy. And I think because it was literally the scariest thing I had ever read. So like Ted Bundy, I'm obsessed with. The Manson murders, that's like so many levels of crazy. And the prosecutor, Vincent Bugliosi, who actually was the one who got Manson convicted, did an amazing job with like collecting all the evidence because Manson wasn't there. Like, he had his followers go and commit the crimes, but it has been proven, and not a lot of people know this, that Manson actually went back to that crime scene that night. And I will talk about that in a different video when I dedicate it just to Manson. The Scott Peterson, Lacey Peterson case is really interesting. I think I have an opinion about it that's probably different than the majority of the people out there because I don't think Scott did it. I will do a video and I'll tell you exactly why. Marilyn Monroe. I think Marilyn was absolutely 100% murdered because the phone call she made to the White House that night that she was killed was the most insane thing that you will ever hear in your life. And again, I'll do this in another video. You guys are actually going to die. I think the O.J. Simpson case was fascinating. I mean, we all know O.J. did it, right? Like, come on. If you don't think O.J. did it, I will recommend another book called Minute by Minute, where an investigator went and literally followed the evidence and did a play-by-play of exactly what happened that night. So I could talk about the O.J. Simpson murder forever. Vincent Bugliosi, who prosecuted the Manson case, actually wrote a book how he would have tried the Simpson case, which was fascinating to read. And it was like, oh my God, this man would have had O.J. convicted, but instead he got away with murder. We all lay in bed at night and think like, what happened to JonBenet? I do, at least, because There is absolutely no way on this planet there was an intruder in that house. Some that I'm not really well versed in, like Jeffrey Dahmer, like that doesn't interest me. I don't know why. However, other cases come up and I'm like, oh, I don't know much about this. And then I'll start researching it. I am going to start doing a video where I will talk about a case and give you my opinion and kind of those, you know, little known facts that I have found, because it's really interesting to me how many people out there are really obsessed with this. I feel like the majority of the people just kind of know the surface facts, but when I start talking about it and I know things that aren't as well known, everyone's like, no. And I'm like, well, yeah. I don't have anybody else to talk about it. Mark thinks I'm weird. My kids are like, oh, okay, mom, murder. And like, here's the thing. I spend a lot of time in LA, and LA is like so many super duper crazy crime scenes. And when people come in to visit me, I'm like, so you guys want to go on Christi's LA murder tour? And I put them in my car and I drive them around and I show them spots around the city where crazy things happen, because I want to see it up close and personal. I think that there's a whole subculture of people who will love these videos, and some of my normal followers are going to be like, what the hell, Christi's talking about murder. I don't know, we're going to get to talking. So that's my dirty little secret. I'm obsessed with murder and I'm no longer hiding in the shadows. I'm out and proud, and I can't wait to talk more about it. All right, so that's it for me this week. I can't wait to talk more about murder. Comment below what case you want me to talk about first. See you next time. Bye.